2020. Hi, Kim. Welcome back
Hey,
to
hey,
another week
Julia.
of fun interviews and exciting conversations.
Yes.
So, we are
Cannot believe
recapping.
we're like more than halfway done with October already.
I know I know, crazy, right? It's halfway through already. So, we've got another full week this week. We've got 3 shows coming up. But before we do that, let's try to recap last week's shows inside of 10 minutes. That's it, 10 minutes, folks. So, we spoke with the CEO and co-founder of Reclaimant,
Hmm.
David Wald, and we spoke about identifying and protecting what's important, how technology is used to help companies empower employees in creating a culture of workplace safety. And then we also spoke with, we had a couple of things that moved around last week. We actually had 2 shows that got postponed. The guests couldn't make it, but we managed to have a Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific show with Jeanniey Walden, who's the Chief Innovation and Marketing Officer at, oh my gosh, what's the name of the company? It slipped. Daily Pay, I think.
I
Yes,
think that's right. Uh-huh.
that's right. Yes. So they're a company that deals with on-demand pay for employees, which is an interesting conversation. I thought that was awesome. And let's get right into it. So the one that stood out, they were both great conversations. The one that really stood out for me was the one with Jeanniey, which was about this idea of back in the old days, when you worked for the day, you got paid. You worked
Hmm.
for the day, you finished your day, you got paid for that day's work. That's kind of how things were. That was before payroll. You showed up, you did your work, and you got a check or you got cash, and you were done. Today, employers have various payroll schemes. Some pay weekly, some biweekly, some monthly, and that doesn't always necessarily align with the needs of
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
employees, right? So sometimes someone might have certain bills coming up at the end of the month, right before paycheck, and they're scrambling to cover them, and they have to wait for the paycheck to come before they can make it, or they have to transfer money from savings. Not everyone's got money to transfer from saving. Unfortunately, a great deal of people live check to check. So this company has come up with a solution that integrates well with payroll system. They've made it really simple for employers to offer this option where you basically can take out your pay based on how you've accrued it. So
Hmm.
if you've got 10 days accrued and you can't wait till payday, you can pay yourself those 10 days. So it's a pretty cool platform they've created to enable employees the power to decide when they want to get paid. If they want to get paid daily, every other day, or whenever they've accrued the funding to do so.
Hmm.
And they've also done it for expenses because quite often you have expenses you're accruing, and by the time you get the reimbursement, sometimes you've already paid it off. So you can accrue the expenses and take that money earlier, so that you can also cover your expenses. So find way to empower employees to be in control of their funding. It's money they've earned, so they should
Yeah.
have the right to take it out whenever they want to. And then the other show was with David Wald. Anything stood out for you from that show?
Yeah. As you mentioned, we spoke with David Wald, and mostly they're utilizing technology to make workplaces safer. And I really loved that. I love the platform and how it got everything accessible and even online, right? Where traditionally a lot of this workplace safety is still relatively manual, the OSHA manual stuck in the corner or paperwork that people have to turn in. And now they're finding a way to incorporate all of that all across the company, from the people who, like, let's say, I think we use the example of delivery truck drivers, right? The actual on the ground individuals, all the way up to those who are in charge of their safety. And I think what I enjoyed most about the technology that they're using is this shift in how we're all actually now able to be involved in our workplace safety and be more proactive. So that if I, for example, saw something of like, gosh, there's a leak in the bathroom and I've slipped on this puddle several times or whatever it might be, I'm able to kind of report these things, which actually helps make things proactive rather than reactive. And I thought that was just really smart, their approach. And it sounds like both of these companies really work in alignment with what we try to do here at Ancora, Mexico, and the idea of being self-managed and allowing people to have more freedom to take things into their own hands. And effectively, that works out for everyone and in a much nicer way.
What was interesting about that conversation with David is that historically, a lot of companies go about this in a sort of damage control approach,
Uh-huh.
right? They've encouraged in the past tracking how many days have gone by, before an accident. I decided to do the show outside today, and I'm getting attacked by flies. But
I
anyway,
haven't noticed them. It's okay.
so historically, you're tracking how many days have gone by
Mhm.
between the last accident, right? And sometimes those numbers, something happens that's minor, and let's not mess up that record and not report it, right? So it doesn't encourage the right behavior. Whereas
Mhm.
getting everyone to be involved in ensuring the safety of the workplace, it's about gamifying,
Mhm.
making those incremental improvements. It's not about not having any accident. It's about having perhaps an accident that was minor and learning from it so that you can avoid it in the future. And
Mhm.
you can only do that when you engage everyone in the process, and it doesn't become more about controlling how things are reported. It becomes more about empowering everyone to participate
Yeah.
in
And
their
the
own safety.
empowerment and taking away the fear of, "Ooh, I don't wanna be the one who ruined the record," right? So creating a culture of transparency, which is better for everyone, right? Making that safer environment for everyone.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes the metrics we create encourage the wrong behavior. So
Mhm.
it's when you change all that and you make it about people having a choice, and that's really what these two guests were about: giving people a choice, giving employees the ability to participate both in the safety of the company, and in the case of daily pay, giving people the empowerment to choose when they get their paycheck.
Right.
Uh, so, what do we got coming up this week? We've got 3 shows
Ooh.
lined up this week, right, Kim? What do we got
3
coming up?
shows. Yeah, October 20th. So tomorrow we're starting off the week with Multilingual Meetings and the Future of Work by Ferdad. Oh no, Ferdad, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce your last name yet. I think it's Zapation. And the question here is, can I really organize an online meeting or event in multiple languages? So it's really interesting, particularly for global companies like ours. And yeah, he is the CEO at Kudo. Then, following that, on Wednesday, October 21st, we're going to be speaking with Anne Herman and Kimberly Sullivan. They're the chief thought leader and the chair of Herman VP. And excuse me, she is the people and talent at Herman. And so they'll be addressing idea to success, right? Leading brand evolution as a female entrepreneur. So all of you women out there, right? It's no longer a man's world. And finally, on Thursday, October 22nd, we'll be speaking to Lucas Ward, co-founder and CTO of Kin Insurance. And he's going to be talking about learning from failure, right? Why failure is our most important teacher.
That should be an interesting conversation, and it's never been a man's world. We've just had the illusion, the delusional illusion that it was. It's never been that. So, please join us back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, and Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll have another exciting conversation with thought leaders and luminaries about what they're doing and sharing their stories, their wisdom, and experiences. And until then, see you soon. Stay safe.
See you tomorrow.